more recent times, the focus of world attention on Kiribati has been around the twin issues of sea level rise and climate change.
Climate change is no doubt the greatest moral challenge of the 21st century. Our uniqueness as human beings, with responsibility and compassion for one another, is being challenged.
In September of this year, the Royal Australian Air Force arrived bearing an eminent guest, the Secretary General to the United Nations, Mr. Ban Ki-moon.
This is a very important visit for the Secretary General. I'm here to see for myself how climate change impacts those small island developing states.
Mr. Secretary General, I would like to take this opportunity to commend you, your instrumental role in reminding the world of this crisis, of the crisis facing the most vulnerable countries. It is our hope that the Green Climate Fund is operationalized as soon as possible to allow the most vulnerable countries to implement urgent adaptation measures to climate change.
Climate change threatens your territory, your culture, and your very way of life. Our only choice is to act now, as you have said. That is why I'm here, to see the front lines of climate change. I will bring your concerns back to the world.
On the second day of the Secretary General's time with us, he paid a visit to the small Tarawa community of Te Pikenikora. This community has had to struggle for many years against the power of the encroaching sea. Its seawalls have been destroyed, its buildings flooded, and its freshwater supply rendered useless by the intrusion of salt water. It's not a happy scenario.
We want to extend our big thank you for your visit. Our community have lived in such a great threat. And they kept asking, what are we going to do? They kept asking, what about our little ones tomorrow?
Thank you. That is a very serious question. So this world should be the place where all of us, all of your human rights should be respected, all of you should be properly educated, all of you should be able to live without fear of all this climate change. You should be able to sleep peacefully without fear. What will happen tomorrow?
I know you promised that you would provide some help to this community. And that is what we've been praying for. And we want to thank you very much. Thank you, Kupasin Rama. God will bless you as you continue your service for the people. Thank you very much.
One means of providing some limited form of coastal protection is the planting of mangroves. It also presented an opportunity for Mr. Ban Ki-moon to get some hands-on experience.
Not to worry, when I first started planting mangroves, I had them the other way around too.
It's hard to overstate the significance of the Secretary General of the United Nations coming here to Kiribati, coming here to the Pacific, but coming here to the front line of climate change, because you cannot understand this debate until you come to the front line of climate change. You can't understand this debate until you see how thin these strips of land are and how vulnerable the people of the coral atoll nations of the world are to rising sea levels.
This is a very moving experience for me.
Well,
I've been always speaking out that you should do this and do that, but this is the first time for me to do myself.
actually do it. Okay.
Instead of asking people to, I'm doing myself. I met a young boy today among so many few hundred people who were asking me, what will happen to us? What United Nations are going to do for us? I was so moved and so sad. They were afraid of their own future. I think we have a moral and political responsibility to make a better world for our young generations and their great children.
I just wish to express how deeply grateful we are for the visit by the Secretary General of the United Nations. We are talking about survival. We are talking about our future generations. We're not talking about economic growth. We have to address the issue today.
It's really important that the person who is in charge of the United Nations also has that experience, and that's why today is not just significant in the history of Kiribati, it's actually very significant in the history of what is one of the great challenges facing humankind.